Hey, it's day 7, so congratulations for making it this far and hanging in there. And I hope you've had some really good insights. The key to this journey is to have a dedicated journal to write these things in, because along the way I'm going to be asking you some questions that you probably need to think about. These are not a one and done type of thing. These are contemplative types of questions that I really want you to give some thought to. It's important. And today is day 7. It's the last day of the week on awareness. So the focus thought that I have today is basically that you can't fix what you don't face. How does that land? You know, that one's sort of a in your face kind of truth, right? So, where do you start? What do you do with that anyway? Well, first, uh, we have to name our feelings. We have to look at our feelings. Our feelings are our GPS. They're our internal guidance system that tells us when something is out of balance, when something is out of whack, and that it's time for us to do something to fix it. Feelings, good feelings tell us when something is right. And it should tell you, gosh, I'd love to have more of this. What do I need to do to recreate this over and over again so that I'm aligned with how I feel and the things that make me feel good? Well, the first thing is to acknowledge your feelings, good, bad, or indifferent. It's important to say that they're there, that they're real, and that they're yours and yours alone. You don't have to justify them. You don't have to explain them. You really don't have to do anything with them except observe them and acknowledge that they're there and that they're real. Because, as I said before, you can't fix what you can't face. So once we acknowledge them, we have to stop and question the feeling, because we need to understand where it's coming from, right? So that's awareness, knowing that something that a lot of us don't practice is being aware of those feelings and asking what's caused them to come up, especially the negative ones. Why am I feeling this way? What need isn't being met? What story am I telling myself about this situation? And is that story true? Once we're aware and understand the source, we have to create a space of self-compassion. So that's step number 3, is creating that space of self-compassion, that it's okay to have those negative feelings, those negative thoughts, those negative emotions. It's okay. You're human. So being able to understand that it's okay to be there, and then deciding that there's something else that I really want to feel in this moment. I don't like this. I don't want to be here. That's a choice. And you can do that. But you have to be aware. You have to understand what the story is that you're telling yourself and decide whether it's true or not. Be compassionate with yourself and then say, what is a better story about what's going on right now? What's the lesson that I can learn from this? How can I move forward? And honestly, that approach is so freeing, because instead of being in that space of anger, you get to say, yeah, I don't like this. This is why I'm feeling this way. I feel this person cut me off in traffic and they didn't need to. I am feeling angry about this person not letting me into traffic when they could have. You know, those are the little things that happen every day that we blow off or we blow up about. And we have choice about all of those things. And once you get past that self-compassion piece, you can begin to have compassion for the other person too. Like, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe something happened at home. Maybe there's something on their mind and there's a family member who's ill, and that's where their head is. They weren't even paying attention. And they doesn't dismiss the fact that they cut you off, but it's not your fault, and it may not be theirs either, not really. So, what would it be like after you've given yourself some compassion and acknowledged both the feeling and the understanding opens up an opportunity to choose something different? What would it be like to know that you can choose something different? Wow. If you were to say, I'm feeling resentful for being asked to do something that is someone else's responsibility. I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. I feel like I'm being disrespected. Those are my feelings, and they are valid. What's the next step? Well, one is to blow up and tell a person off. Another is to say, you know what? What's a different way that I can look at this? A different truth that I want to own? And how can I create it for myself? You could speak up. You could say, no, I'm not doing it. You can be curious and ask questions. There's so many other ways other than just stewing in your anger and your disappointment. So ask yourself, I know that's a long way around it, but ask yourself, what's one truth you've been avoiding about how you feel about something lately? Tie into a negative emotion that keeps coming up over and over and over again, and ask yourself why you're still stuck on that negative emotion. Avoidance can be costly. Healing begins when you can face your truth softly and with care. And it's a big order to do. It takes practice to do that. But that's how you move from coping to clarity. So, an affirmation that I'd like to share today is I face my truth with clarity and with compassion for myself and for others. That's a big lesson today. I hope you take it in. I hope you really think about the thought that what you can't face or what you won't face, you can't fix. And think about how you can begin the process of correcting those negative thoughts and creating something positive for yourself. Kind of long, but I hope it lands. Share with me what you think, what your challenges are, and what you'd like to know more about. All right, take care. Bye.